Okay, with everything going on in the Middle East right now, with everything unfolding between Israel and Iran as they're exchanging fire at each other, I do want to point something out for you because there's some notable changes that are taking place right now, which could absolutely spike Social Security checks for basically everybody across the board, as well as how all of this could impact all of us in a massive, massive way that a lot of people really aren't expecting. Now, we might be thinking, hey, we're not involved in this. We're not going to be, we're not going to get involved with this whole situation. That's kind of the situation, is that hopefully we don't, right? We don't want to be carried into this. But beside the point there, I want to point out this notable change that happened today that I do want to bring to your attention, because when it comes down to Social Security checks, obviously, I talk about this every single day, as in Social Security. I talk about these benefits every single day, not this exact topic, but rather I do talk about Social Security literally daily. However, something happened today that I feel like, oh, wow, that's a big, big change. This is going to change things in a huge way, and this will ultimately come back and impact benefit checks, if I can say positively. There's nothing positive about this. Let's just be real, okay? I'm not trying to act like, oh, this is so positive for us. But what I do want to say is that what I noticed today is going to flow back to the checks for millions of beneficiaries, and we're likely going to see that hitting. And at the end of the day, it's probably going to result in a significantly larger bump in your monthly benefits, okay? And again, I just want to reiterate, I'm not sitting here acting like, oh, hooray for us, this is awesome, we're going to get like $16 more. No, I'm not saying that at all. This is bad overall for everybody. Super sad situation. And, we just hope that hopefully this can be resolved quickly. I mean, seriously, right? Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much here. That's not what this channel is all about. But rather, I want to talk about money, benefits, your money, your Social Security, things like that. That's what I enjoy talking about, honestly. So that's what we're going to focus on. Okay. Obviously, I think you're probably pretty aware of what's going on, right? I don't need to explain the whole detail. In fact, I'm not going to. I think you've seen it up in the news today, right? All right, anyway, let me share with you what happened. Okay, now this might seem a little bit weird, like, dude, you're going down some weird rabbit hole right now. This doesn't make any sense. It'll make sense in just a second, okay? All right, anyway, when the campaign started, late last night, right? Actually, it was I was watching it very vividly. I was very in tune with what was happening. But as soon as Israel started the attack on Iran, what happened? Oil prices spiked massively. In fact, oil was up a little over 10% today. Now, it didn't settle, as in it didn't close up 10%, but it oscillated quite a bit. And again, it was up multiple percentage points. So like 7, 8, 9, 10 plus percent oil prices. Okay. Now you might be thinking again, who cares? This has nothing to do with my monthly check. It does. Okay. So what I'm talking about is oil prices. Now we saw this huge, huge spike in oil prices today. Now let's just think of this logically for a second here. When oil prices spike, what happens? Well, that translates into higher gasoline prices significantly. So if we saw a spike in oil prices of 8% today, right, which we did, okay, that's where oil settled today, was up about 8%. That's a big, big move for oil, by the way. My point being is that when we see prices on commodities like oil spike this much, it also translates into higher gas prices. Immediately, well, not quite immediately, but very soon we will see this translate into higher gasoline prices, ultimately higher diesel prices as well, right? Okay, what's my point? Well, what happens when we have high gasoline, high diesel prices, things like that? Well, guess what? All of the items, literally every single thing that we buy at our local stores, I mean, unless it's literally manufactured in the back room of Bob's manufacturing shop and he sells it right out in front, I mean, with the rare exception of that, that's about it. Other than that, literally everything else is brought to the retailers via semi or some type of transportation, obviously burning diesel, burning gasoline to get it there, right? So when these prices adjust higher significantly, like what we saw today, and as this campaign continues to unfold over the coming days, as Israel made it very clear, this is likely going to be a multi-day campaign against Iran. They're literally exchanging fire as we speak, okay? It's kind of beside the point, but you get my point here. This is going to drag on for a while. Oil prices will continue to be driving higher. Why? That's just how it goes with conflict like this, when there's uncertainty like this in the Middle East, because they produce a ton of oil and we buy a bunch from them, right? When that happens and we see this translated into higher gasoline, higher diesel prices, what that's going to do is it's going to put more cost onto products, things like everything, literally everything that we are buying at our stores: groceries, clothing, home items, I don't know, pet food, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up right now. Literally every single thing, it'll be translated into that. Think of a couple years ago when we saw super high gasoline prices. Did we see that translated in the retailers and the store prices? Absolutely we did, right? We saw all of that because we are the ones, we're the end consumer. Sadly to say, we're the end consumer that gets stuck with every price adjustment. We are the ones who pay for it. Even though they act like, oh no, don't worry, we're not going to raise our prices. We'll just, make less margins on this. Bull. No, they don't. Maybe for like a little while they do, but they make it up eventually, and they get that out of us, the end consumer. So here's what's interesting. We have this divergence right now. It's kind of an interesting situation. When I say interesting, I mean like, oh, that's kind of interesting to watch. Not like cool, but more like, this is kind of weird. But here's what's going on. We have all the tariffs, right? You've heard me talk about the tariffs for a while now. The tariffs and everything that we've seen with the price adjustments have basically started like 2 weeks ago, right? You saw my video from maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or so, give or take a couple days here. Probably 2-ish weeks ago. I had a video out. Big retailers, again, this is just a couple examples. Walmart, Target, raising prices on select items across the board. Pretty big, like 38%, 45% on some select items. We're seeing this. It's not just Walmart and Target. I mean, those are just a couple that I'm naming right now, but we've seen this across the board with everybody. Literally every single retailer out there, whether they're being impacted by tariffs or not, they're raising prices. Why? I said this just the other day in a video, or maybe it was a live stream, I don't remember, but I said this just the other day. Whether they're being impacted by tariffs or not, retailers are looking at this as an opportunity to raise prices, because they're saying, look, we can point the finger at tariffs. We can just blame it on them. Let's raise our prices. It's giving them an opportunity to raise their prices, whether they're impacted or not, whether the prices of their products that they're selling are impacted or not, they're raising prices. We're seeing it. In fact, I was just reading a report just recently where they're finding a lot of these price increases are actually not even being impacted because of the tariffs, right? But they're just raising prices because they have the opportunity. Anyway, so that's one situation. We've got the price increases coming in because of the tariffs. Number two, coming in now, literally because of oil prices and the attacks in the Middle East that they're trading, back and forth here, and prices on oil surging. This is going to translate into higher delivery cost of literally everything on our store shelves that we are all buying. It's not going to hit quite yet. It's not going to be like, oh, tomorrow we're going to see prices increasing 10% on shampoo. No, that's not what I'm saying. But in the next couple weeks here, if prices on oil and energy and things like that continue to stay strong and continue to increase, absolutely. Over the coming weeks, we will for sure see prices being reflected because of higher transportation costs. That's the only way the products can get to our stores, right? They're not delivering everything by drone quite yet. Maybe someday they'll do that, right? Can you imagine, right? A drone carrying a pallet across the sky, and you're like, hey, what's that noise? You look up and there's like a drone carrying a pallet of dog food or something to your store. Who knows? Maybe that'll happen someday. I wouldn't be shocked one bit, right? But anyway, so as we see this continue to unfold here, we're likely going to see not only the impacts of pricing because of the tariffs, we're going to see adjustments in pricing on our store shelves on all of the items we're buying because of transportation cost, because of oil prices. Literally, we just saw this a couple years ago again. When oil prices were very high, we saw this same situation. When we had the supply chain issues, coming out of the 2020, 2021 situation, we saw high oil prices then. Same situation that we saw then. We will see it again. And who knows? Maybe over the weekend, everybody calms down and oil prices come back down 10%. Highly doubt it. Highly doubt that's going to happen. It doesn't happen like that, right? Okay. Now, all that's out of the way, let's explain really quickly how this translates into Social Security checks. Okay, you know what I'm about to say. Higher prices means higher inflation. Higher inflation means higher COLA. Higher COLA means higher checks. That's all that comes down to, right? If I can just point it out super fast there. But here's what's also interesting. The timing of this is impeccable. The timing of this is incredible. The implementation of the tariffs literally coming in like right now, the last 2 weeks or so, we've seen the huge adjustments in price because of the tariffs. The whole spike in oil prices coming now, basically the middle of June. We're likely going to see more of this hitting over the coming weeks. And then we're right into what? July. July is what? Well, it's a couple different things. It's the second half of the year, and it's also the third quarter of the year already. What is the significance of the third quarter of the year? The third quarter of the year, July, August, and September, are the 3 months that are used to determine the COLA for the following year. Every little adjustment in price, every little detail that comes out economically or globally that'll impact consumer prices on anything in the months of July, August, and September, during those 3 months, is going to directly impact our money and our raise to our benefits. So we just, what was it? It was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I was out with the video yesterday morning. I was out in the video and I was saying, hey, check this out. We got the inflation report. And it's looking like we're getting a little bit higher of a COLA based on the data now. It's still edging a little higher. I would not be shocked if we see the next report that comes out in the middle of July. I don't know the exact date right now when it's released in July, but I would not be shocked for the next inflation report that we get out in July on the behalf of June. It'll be June's inflation data in the middle of July. I would not be shocked if we see a huge spike in prices, as in inflation, because of the confluence of tariff implementation as well as higher oil prices, higher delivery costs that I'm talking about here. And then we're in the prime of it. As soon as we roll over to July, we're in the prime of it, the third quarter of the year, and those 3 months are going to be the months that determine how much of a raise we're going to be getting. So as of right now, the forecasts, the projections are suggesting we're looking at a 2.5% COLA. That's pathetic. That's discouraging. That's annoying because we know that real inflation is significantly higher than that. But based on what we're looking at now, we could easily see quite a bit higher than that. I'm not going to throw projections right here in this live stream because I want to look at some more data first before I just throw out some random number like, it's going to be blah. There's just no point in doing that. But I want to look at some other data here. But based on what we're looking at now, we could easily be moving significantly higher from these levels of the latest projection just literally yesterday of 2.5%. And that'd be the same as what we got this year, 2.5%. We all know how that helped us out. Not. The Medicare Part B premium, by the way, took the majority of that. The vast majority of it took for most people. So anyway, that's how this whole situation that's literally playing out right here, right now, as we speak in the Middle East, could ultimately hit our Social Security checks. I'm going to say it in a positive way. I'm not trying to act like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. We're going to get extra money in our checks because of this. No. I mean, if I had to take a trade, I'd say, hey, let's spare the COLA and let's just ask for peace. Seriously, let's just get along for once in this world. It seems like all we do is fight and argue these days. I don't know. It just seems really odd that we've always got to do this kind of thing. But that's apparently the new world we're living in now. So anyway, that's how this whole thing translates. And again, at the beginning of the live stream, I said, this is going to sound kind of weird. This is going to be kind of weird, like it's very convoluted, like this has no relation. It absolutely does. It absolutely 100% does. And this is a very interesting time, a very fluid situation that we're living through right now with all of the changes, as if we needed more uncertainty in our lives right now. Well, we do. Welcome. Here we go, right? Yep, we'll have to see how this whole thing plays out. And again, it's all just going to come down to, well, first off, the tariffs, number one. We were supposed to have agreements by now. No agreements for the most part. I mean, we have a couple like very bad agreements. I mean, nothing great for the most part. All this tariff talk and everything like that, right? And all in just a matter of weeks here. In fact, the president said this, it was on, what's today? Today's Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky, right? Today, right now. But anyway, a couple days ago, I think it was on maybe, I don't know, Wednesday or Tuesday of this week. It was a few days ago. The president said he's just going to come out and start assigning tariffs to these countries because they're not coming to the table in good faith to negotiate the tariffs. Okay, well, if he just assigns tariffs to them, who knows what that's going to be, right? It's just going to like pull countries countries and a percentage out of a hat and be like, well, you get 10%, you get 20%, you get 17%. Who knows how that whole situation is going to go, right? Anyway, very interesting situation, but this is what I wanted to share with you really quickly in this live stream here. So I'll keep you posted on everything going on. It's a weird time right now. But yeah, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Again, as always, thank you so much for watching this. If you're just jumping on right now, the best thing I would say is just scroll back and watch from the beginning. A lot of different things that I discussed here in this video. But at the end of the day, it all flows back to us, our money, and what we're going to be seeing in consumer prices. Which sounds like, no, that's not realistic. It actually is. Yeah, it always is. It all comes back to consumer prices, and then consumer prices ultimately also impact our monthly benefits. So, yeah, let's just see what happens here. Only time will tell, right? So, wow. Anyway, hope you're having a nice Friday the 13th. Maybe you'll watch a spooky movie or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Oh, quick little side note here. I'm going to say this really quick. I was just thinking of eating popcorn, watching a spooky movie, and it made me think of food stamps for a second. Okay, one really, really fast side note on food stamps. I was just reading. Remember how Arkansas and what were the other states? Arkansas, Idaho, Utah, Iowa, Nebraska. There's another one in there I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the other state. There's 6 of them. Anyway, I'm forgetting the other one. I was just reading about this. Some of the states are not implementing those different parameters around banning soda and candies and things like that for a while. In fact, Arkansas is not implementing it until July of next year. So if you're in Arkansas, go at it. Go wild. Seriously, eat all the candy. Well, okay, I'm not endorsing eating candy. I do a little bit, but not much. But my point being is that if you're in Arkansas, you've got about a year until they implement the parameters on the new, banning of candies and pops and stuff like that in Arkansas. The other state, I think it was Indiana. Maybe I could be wrong on that. Or was it Idaho? I could be getting wrong. Anyway, one of the other states, I'm drawing a blank on which state it was now. I just read an article about it, is going to be implementing it as of January 1st. Okay, so it's not looking like a lot of these are implementing them immediately, which is kind of cool for a lot of people. So stock up now if you want that kind of food. If you want that kind of thing, I mean, go at it now because they're coming down with the hammer soon. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's leave it at that. Otherwise, I'm going to get off on a rant here. We're going to be talking all kinds of random stuff. So anyway, just thought of that for a second. Otherwise, please have a nice evening. If I see anything else weird that comes up, I'll jump on a live stream today. Otherwise, just enjoy, and I'll hope to catch you again later in the next one. By the way, please watch that video from earlier today. Watch at least half of it. Okay. I've seen a few people coming in saying, oh, this is, BS or whatever. Please. I had the video earlier. The title is something like Raw Truth, $5,000 Stimulus. Watch that video. If you have any questions on that, I'm going to answer it for you right there in that video. And I give it to you raw and straight in that video. Please watch that and just at least watch like half of it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just watch at least like 5 minutes of the video. You'll get what I'm going to say in that video, okay? Anyway, hope this helps you. Otherwise, please just enjoy. Have a nice Friday the 13th. Don't get too spooky out there. Sorry, I know. All right, anyway, please have a good one. And thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it. And I'll catch you again later in the next video. All right, have a good one. Oh, subscribe, by the way, if you're new here. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. Otherwise, enjoy. All right. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yep. Cancel. All right. I will see you later.